Esports, widely regarded as the #1 team in the world, taking on Reason the Sync Slayers. We're heading on into game one. Let's take a look at the picks and bans as they've immediately called for a remake.
That they have. I'm not sure if it's a troll remake call.
I'm hoping it's a troll. I'm hoping it's a troll.
It's Insania. It has to be troll.
He is a grand troll. But in any case, Miraxis is going to be the first ban right there, respecting Mika quite a bit. Actually, Insania banned Miraxis. Interesting.
So he's respecting his own player. He doesn't
there it is.
He doesn't want Sync to win too easy. No, but Own Me from Reason Gaming. Actually, he's back on his original account. He was playing under the name of Math for quite some time now, but seems like he's back on Own Me here. And he has a very, very respectable 1 versus 1, and especially on that Miraxis, he just hits that Quake stun on 2 free targets every single time.
He's always been a great initiator, you know, through the 3 or 4 years that he's been part of not only this team, but other teams previous to it. And definitely interesting to finally meet him. You know, I've known him since I think he was 14 or 15 years old. He just turned 18, I think, last week. So getting up there in years.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, that's for sure. Always keeping the motivation high, and of course, wow, and the screams are real here. It's between BMG and D-Dog, actually. I think that this game is about to end. But yeah, look at the first picks here coming out. Moira from Sync and Parasite for Reason Gaming.
Yeah, it's definitely a Moira type of event at this point. People are really valuing this hero, if not first pick, then in the first 2. And she has had a pretty good win rate. Quincy might actually be able to provide us the stats for Moira in this event, but I'm pretty sure that she's got a very high win rate so far.
I would assume so, yes. I was sitting down with both teams, and both teams said that they are quite confident in actually taking this series. They felt like it was more or less 50-50 percentage-wise. Not really like making a statement that they are going to win. It's safe to say they both respect each other. But I also spoke with Insania about the draft, and he said, I'm going to first pick Moira. That's how I'm going to beat Reason Gaming. If I get Moira, then I'm confident in the fact that I can carry my team from the support role. So interesting indeed to see that Moira once again first picked. Second pick coming up, but they are taking quite some time to think about this one.
Yeah, using quite a bit of their reserve time. Already 40 seconds gone right here. And they got to think, okay, there's a Parasite on the other side, and we're going to go with a Prisoner.
So the Prisoner returns.
Hey, man, they had a pretty dang good performance out of the Moira Prisoner. I believe that was in Game 2 of their series against
Game
D-Dog
2
earlier.
and Game 3.
And Game 3, that's right. They ran the Deja Vu.
That they did. Actually, both D-Dog and Sync had exact same 3 first picks in both Game 2 and 3.
3 first picks in the first 8 bans.
Yep.
Then they deviated, and they decided to ban Pyromancer. Respect for Zlapt. They banned 4 out of Zlap's heroes out of the first 4 bans.
That it did. And Prisoner, of course, is very good here versus the Parasite, seeing as he can hook those catapults, for example. So he's a very good counter versus the Parasite. Of course, Reason are going to counter it straight away with the Bubbles, though, and it's safe to say that Bubbles is now going to be in the mid. You're not going to be able to do too much versus the Prisoner. Even if you get the Shackle off or the hook, Bubbles just gonna shell stuff away. And the ultimate is the same way. I mean, you can just take cover it. You can take cover the hook. Bubbles is the ultimate counter to Prisoner. And Moira, of course, not going to be able to do too much either. So I think that this Bubbles pickup is going to be of very, very, very... Or it's going to be very, like a significantly strong hero for Reason Gaming in this game. He's going to be a key hero.
Yep, always a fan of watching the Bubbles play. Of course, it's a pretty high skill cap hero in terms of actually utilizing those mechanics to the fullest extent of their ability. So always fun to watch. And now looks like Sync, they're using the remainder of their reserve time right now. And this is something that some teams have always talked about, managing that reserve time. But it is the Dark Lady that actually comes out right here. And that is your strong hyper carry.
Yeah, Sync Esports, they have a lot of respect for this hero. They have lost to him several times, and I think it was in the DreamHack Qualifier 1 when Reason Gaming actually beat Sync. Reason Gaming were running the Dark Lady for themselves, so now Sync is making a statement that we can run this hero as well. We are going to defeat you with that Dark Lady. We're heading into the second banning phase as well. Andromeda is going to be the third pick for Reason Gaming, and you know what that usually means, or what that usually indicates towards? Offensive tri-lane.
It is indeed, and that's one that Sync has seemed to have a lot of trouble with. not only in this event, but somewhat in the weeks previous. They've been kind of moving Mickey into that position of the second support when they are going to tri-lane versus tri-lane and whatnot. But as a result, Insania has actually been banning out the Andromeda in the second banning phase every time. But this time, Reason squeezed it in there, said, okay, you've banned this out quite a bit over the past few weeks. We're going to go ahead and grab this before the second bans.
Sounds about right. And first bans, it seems to be, or first bans in the second banning phase, Tremble, Magnus, Corrupted Disciple, Behemoth, and Swiftblade. So, signature heroes for both teams, to say the least. What heroes remains? Are Behemoth banned? Yeah, he was banned. Yeah, by Reason recently. Usually that's the kind of hero that Reason runs. Like, Nier just plays an amazing Behemoth, but apparently they fear Sync for picking up the hero for themselves. I'm not quite sure about that, because I don't really see Behemoth fitting in the Legion lineup.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that one either, but of course it is a strong hero on its own, and going to go ahead and ban out Kraken, a respect ban for Keizu right there. But no ban's going to be really targeting Imbaboy other than that Corrupted Disciple ban. So he's still got some of his stronger heroes. I guess the Swiftblade is on there as well, but the one that I'm kind of looking at is perhaps Dr. Repulsor. Definitely a strong hero and an Imbaboy special. But then again, he already got some pretty strong counters in Prisoner and Dark Lady.
Indeed. And the more on top of that, the mana drain is not to be trifled with either. So, yeah, maybe not the Dr. Repulsor, but the Puppet Master, for example, is still up. And I would say that he's a pretty good counter versus the Dark Lady, who is relatively squishy in the early to mid-game, seeing as he's usually going for the Rune Axe, and after that, he might even go a little bit greedy before he gets the BKB. So, actually, it's going to be the Clanks instead. And this is the hero that they won in the series versus BMG earlier with. Clanks, like 600 gold per minute or something. They are very comfortable with this hero. I think Imbaboy actually had 1 or 2 annihilations in that game as well, so it's safe to say that Reason knows how to run this.
They do indeed. Now Blitz on the other side. Definitely an interesting hero. They've been running it a little bit just with those second supports. I think that we saw it earlier, right? That was actually on one of the other teams. That was one of the Thai teams, if I am remembering correctly.
Not entirely sure. I know that they ran it together with like a Dr. Repulsor as a initiator or something like that.
Okay.
But,
we got to talk about that.
Yeah, actually that was World Elite.
Yeah, that's right. So we got to talk a little bit about this final pick.
Oh my God.
Breaky, where are you?
It's just a shame that Breaky ain't hair casting this
I might have to actually relinquish the headset so that he can cast a Berserker game, because he might go Berserk. No, but definitely an extremely strong hero, and one of these that if you do go with on that 5th pick, they have no counters to the hero. All of a sudden, he gets that ultimate off, especially if he's able to get a Staff of the Masters upgrade on that thing, and you don't have something that can sufficiently CC him, he's going to tear everything apart.
I'm curious about the pick at the same time, because I would assume that he goes very well with the blades with extra movement speed. You know, he hits like a truck, so as long as he can keep up with his enemies, he's gonna deal tons of damage. But versus a Bubbles, for example, can easily take cover or just shell surf away from his first spell, the Shane Spike. Now they pick up the Drunken Monster to counter his as well. He can easily stagger away. Clanks, yeah, sure, you can deal a lot of damage if you get into the range, but Clanks is like, if you pick up a Wingbow, especially in the late game, I don't see Berserker doing very well versus the Clanks in like 1 versus 1, or in 1 versus 1 situation, of course, but in team fights in general, I feel like Reason Gaming might have the edge. So I think this is going to come down a lot to the laning phase, actually, and how well, for example, the Parasite can perform. If he can get that kind of snowball effect, if he can start getting easy pickups, if he can get a puzzle box, map control, because there are 2 supports on the Legion side and only 1 on the Hellborn side. So it's important that Parasite helps out Andromeda as soon as possible.
It certainly is, and we'll see just how active he is able to get in the first few minutes as we go into our competitive pause. The players deciding that, well, we didn't have enough delays and pauses and whatnot. We gotta take care of some more stuff. The guys from Sync, I mean, it's their first LAN ever, so they just don't know what to go in with the expectations here.
Yeah, they want to stand up a little bit. I think they want to maybe form a ring and make some shout-outs or shouts for themselves. I don't know.
Gotta pump themselves up.
Yeah, exactly.
No, they're just sitting there, just talking a little bit. Camera focusing on the guys from Reason.
Yep. Seems like Sync Esports is once again ready to go at least, and it seems like they're heading all the way up to the top lane. So they're going to contest, and they're going to try to block as many camps as possible for the Parasite straight off the bat.
And this could actually be a little bit of a clash, as there are 4 make that 5 heroes heading up the middle lane. Looks like they're angling toward the top. So, Znui, do you actually see one of these teams having a stronger level 1 power spike?
Yeah, Reason Gaming is not going to be able to contest this whatsoever. They got the Parasite, they got the Bubbles, they got the Clanks. All those 3 heroes are more or less worthless, level 1. So Sync Esports, they are free to do whatever they want.
Now, if they fight up this hill, though, and get the initiation, they could do something. No, they're already falling back. They're like, okay,
yeah,
we want
there's
none
no
of that.
way, yeah. If Drunken Master is going to be run as a suicide as well, he's going to want that stagger level 1, so he doesn't want to go in here for the first blood and get that launch of his.
And so they're going to be able to block up the camps as much as they do want. So far, no wards being dropped. They know that they should have the stronger level 1, so they've got no need whatsoever to get out of this jungle too quickly.
Nope. They actually doesn't seem to ward a single camp, though.
So maybe are they trying to force Parasite to go enemy jungle just by faking it?
Possibly. That's a very interesting strat in that case. I'm not sure if Tankafet is going to fall for it. He doesn't have any red wards for his own, so it could very well be that he actually decides to do so.
That is indeed what it looks like is happening. Is he was given a ward by Andromeda and is now making his way down into the opposing team's jungle.
Yeah. Wow, I have never seen that before.
That's an interesting strategy for sure.
That was so creative from Sync's part. I can't believe that actually worked. Recent Gaming, Tankafet here on Parasite, he's just going to rotate over to the Legion Forest without even realizing that not a single camp on his side is actually blocked.
So definitely not ideal from a farm standpoint, from a safety standpoint. But if he's able to get a little bit of levels, he can definitely put some pressure on the Dark Lady, who's currently solo mid, although Blitz is already coming over for the help. Though Bubbles, I mean, this is one of the stronger heroes in terms of being able to get a kill if you're able to get those auto attacks off, and then, of course, utilize not only that shell surf, but to take cover really effectively.
Look at these lanes, by the way. Dark Lady in the mid, Prisoner in the safe lane. So they just made a statement like, we don't want to go up versus the Bubbles. And yeah, did you see that?
That was close. You don't hear any laughs coming from the other side this time. They know just how bad that could have been if that was hit there. Up top, though, going to go ahead and snap the chain. Clank's going to drop both of the flash bombs, but he is going to go down, being taken out by the Blitz. Zlat picks up Bloodlust.
That's a great kill, especially for the Blitz. Now he's going to have the early marches, and he's going to increase his movement speed even more. So he's going to be able to run through or between mid and the top lane in a few seconds. And this is definitely the start that Sync was looking for. What's Clank's going to go from here?
Well,
like, he cannot enter up the top lane anymore. Look at him, he's already heading towards the bottom.
Yeah, they're going to have to pull a little bit of a lane swap, but and down there already, Prisoner is in some trouble. Tankafet coming on in on the Wild Hunter, and down he goes, evened up at 1-1. And it's going to be a nice free lane for Clanks when he gets down.
That it sure is, and the lane is pushing in. So yeah, perfect opportunity, and I like the decision from Recent Gaming and Immoboy, especially on the Clanks, realizing straight away. Actually, they are looking to enter the forest. What's Clanks doing?
I am not entirely sure.
He's going to set up another gang for Prisoner?
I mean, it's certainly possible. If Parasite's able to get another beneficial creep, he does find a Minotaur, but I don't think he's going to take the Minotaur all the way back over there yet. He's just going to go for the farm. So Clank's actually just making his way back on out one more time, and he's just going to go ahead and start farming. So it looks like Drunken Master should be porting up to the top lane, maybe zoning out the Prisoner just again for just a brief moment. But they make their way over.
Oh, look at the mid lane. The silence is hitting Bubbles.
Is in some trouble. Not going to be able to take cover of that one as Moira and Blitz combo one more time to take down a core.
Sync Esports is up to a very, very good start, to say it's the least. Drunken Master got the marches now as well, so he's going to start rotating with Andromeda towards that mid. As soon as Bubbles gets back, they're going to try to set up a return kill on the Dark Lady. They cannot allow Dark Lady at this point to get out of control, but look at this. Moira is already in position once again. They're looking for blood.
Shards of Harkon are there. Andromeda, no boots, in some trouble. Blitz going to go for the walk down, but here comes the Vulture Lord, a.k.a. Parasite. Is it going to be enough? The hook out of there. Drunken Master could be in a little bit of trouble, but already you did have a death. And Drunken Master,
Parasite might
Parasite's
be in trouble
now the one that's in trouble,
well.
the body block. But here comes Bubbles. The auto attacks, are they going to be enough? There's the lunge in, and Dark Lady's now going to be the one to fall.
Parasite might. No, Blades might actually be the one in trouble. Recent Gaming can continue.
This is the rumble in the jungle right here.
This it is. This is Woods Wars. Wood Wars, and at the 3-minute mark, everyone except for that Berserker was down there. 9 heroes on the Legion side this early on, including the carry Clanks for Recent Gaming. That's not too often that you see that kind of situation.
It was indeed a pretty lengthy team fight. Both teams sacrificing a lot in the way of efficiency to actually go for those kills. In the end, being maybe slightly more in favor of the guys in Reason, as they do pick up that very necessary kill on the Dark Lady. Anything that they can do to stall her from hitting that optimal farm.
Yep, and she is rotating once more to the bot lane, so she's going to give up the mid lane now. Not entirely sure why. I guess Prisoner just wasn't comfortable being down here anymore, seeing as the lane was pushed up. But, I mean, he had Wild Hunters that he could easily pull the lane back with. So a little bit questionable. He's not going to be able to have too much of an impact versus the bubbles in the mid. But, yeah, Sync Esports, they had a very good start with that offensive tri-lane, but they more or less gave it up for no reason, I feel.
Yeah, they wanted to go ahead and start roaming on the middle lane, hopefully taking out that Bubbles. But Bubbles, I mean, they got the kill right there, but you have to sacrifice quite a bit to get that kill. And he's just like, okay, I'm going to TP back middle again and start farming. And he was the one that did continue farming while the rest of the team was fighting, at least for the most part. Came in to get a kill on Dark Lady.
Yeah, as well as the shutdown, or as long as the shutdown the Clanks was currently at 150 gold per minute, actually top lane.
Yeah, Drunken Master could be in some trouble. The Shards of Harkon are there, drains the mana as well, and Zane will fall. So 4-2, now doubling up the enemy team kills. Sync Esports getting loud. Their posse behind them. I think they probably have the biggest contingent of fans that are constantly sitting behind them. Fans, friends, family.
That is very likely to say. There's several family members and, of course, fans here at DreamHack shouting for their favorite team, Sync Esports. Let's see here, Moira and Prisoner going to camp the top rune. Doesn't seem like Recent Gaming are going to contest it. Bubbles heading over, but he's not going to be able to find too much.
Ooh, a haste rune on Prisoner as well. That could be quite deadly. Right now, not going to be going for a kill on the Bubbles. Want to save that for something a little bit more tasty, but that would secure very easy kills on something like a Clanks or even the Drunken Master.
That it would. Look out for that, definitely. Tankafed, by the way, 240 gold per minute. He was up at 300 minute or 300 gold per minute mark, but ever since he rotated back to his forest, he's had to share his farm with not only a Drunken Master, but a Clanks as well. So, yeah, not necessarily looking too good for Reason this early on. The Legion team definitely got a higher gold per minute stats, at least.
Yeah, they've been doing a much more efficient job of actually securing the farm, but it's really not that big of a deal so far. Only about 670 gold per minute, or excuse me, gold behind, as Insania is dropping raffles.
Not entirely sure what happened.
I don't know. I'm about to say no all chat except for GG's and etc.
That's a good one, and they are going to enter the Hellborn Forest, but there is a ward of sight placed by Nier, who is going to spot him, so it's not going to be a surprise factor whatsoever. Actually, Sync is going to find a ward of sight.
Nice counter ward right there. As you said, they saw that the enemy team was falling back when they started entering into the jungle, and they say, all right, there's a ward in one of these locations, and we're going to go ahead and take that one out.
That they will. Clanks continuing to farming in the forest. He cannot even touch his lane at this point. He just doesn't dare to. If he knows for a fact that if he gets hit by the chain spike from the Berserker, then he's dead, because there is going to be a Moira stun following it up. So literally at this point, they are more or less 3 heroes from the Hellborn team sharing their forest.
Not quite so much the efficiency picture right there. And they're trying to clean up Moira. Gets the Ephemeral Forge illusion. And a nice illusion rune. Going to be picked up by Parasite there. So he sends fight fire with fire, illusions for illusions. But still not going to be trying to get any kills with that. I think a kill on Dark Lady would be rather difficult at this point. She's level 7 and does have the Ghost Marchers up for that additional movement speed. And of course she's got the charge to get on out of there as well. Both teams stopped and played pretty passive.
That it did. I'm not entirely sure why Recent Gaming are allowing Berserker to free farm up at the top lane though. There is a pull camp and I feel like they should use it.
Another fight in the jungle, and Dark Lady going to be able to run off the Andromeda as well as Parasite. But here comes Berserker. Dark Lady charges in. Though. And now there are 4 players here. They're going to turn it around onto Dark Lady, make it 5. Bubbles with the big ultimate. The hook going to be coming on in, though. I don't know if they wanted that. Blitz is in a pretty good spot as he is able to take out Parasite as well as Clanks. A big Andromeda stun going to be coming in, but it's now time for Reason Gaming to fall back. Just kidding. Parasite is back. Is he going to be able to make anything happen? No, he's not.
That was so close. It could have been so much better for Recent Gaming, but that hook once again from Mickey just showing what an awesome hooker that he is. He had such an amazing time on that Prisoner versus D-Dog earlier on today in game number 2 and game number 3 as well. So he's showing it off once again that he knows this hero to perfection. And
speaking of showing things off, KZU's showing that they're tracking buybacks. That was, of course, one buyout there on Tankafet's Parasite to get back into that battle. So something a little bit impulsive for not being able to actually clear anything out.
Yep. That, well, that is something that all the teams do. They keep track on the buybacks, of course, and they conquer kills. Sometimes even ultimates, like a Tempest, for example, you like at the same time as Tempest uses his ultimate, you just type it in the chat, like, okay, this 10:04, for example. So you know for like an exact time when the Tempest ultimate is actually going to be back up. And that's a really smart thing to do.
Definitely something that if you're planning on being a championship team, you might want to go ahead and take a look at those. As Sync, one more time, going to be going for some pause. A brief audio issue. Hopefully they're going to be able to get it sorted out.
Fortunately for Sync Esports, their headset doesn't seem to be working with their computers here at the LAN center, so they're using some kind of in-ear extra or some in-ear headset at least. Yeah. And apparently there seems to be some kind of problem, but it should be sorted out or fixed shortly.
Yep, KZU seems to think that they are ready to go once more, so hopefully going to be getting on into that one. Now, I want to take a look at the warding situation currently, because the only ward that I'm seeing up on the map from the guys in Sync Esports, slightly deep into the enemy jungle here in the top lane, whereas the more defensive ward coming out in the middle lane, protecting the Bubbles, who is farming there by Reason Gaming. But both teams a little bit starved for vision currently.
That they are. I feel like, oh, actually, yes, as when we say that, they are actually placing another one in the mid lane and a Ward of Revelation at the same time. It's not gonna spot the Ward of Sight, though. Do you see how close that is?
Wow, that is quite close indeed.
That's so unfortunate. I'm not even sure if it's. No, it shouldn't spot. Like,
no, I don't think so.
The little white markers touches the Ward of Sight, but I guess it's not enough. I guess you need 50% of the ward.
Something along those lines, but all we know is they did not grab that one. Speaking of grabbing things, though, Sync is going to be trying to grab a couple of stacks right here. It looks like they have 1 or 2 triples. Looks like 2 triple stacks right now, so going to be picking those ones up pretty soon. And, of course, Dark Lady going to be waiting to do those until she does have her Rune Cleaver, but she's quite far away from that. Do any of these other heroes
lane, by the way, there is the Veiled Wrath being used.
And they are going to try to grab Dark Lady. It's not going to happen, though. Drunken Master now going to be the one that is in some trouble. Taint Soul getting the slow on him, and it was not enough to set up the big hook. 5 players from Sync down here. This is now the cue for Imbaboy to push the top lane.
This is a big investment at the same time from Sync Esports side. Using all those 5 TPs, they have to commit either to a push or... Well, I don't know. Clank is pushing the top lane, and this was not efficient whatsoever from Sync Esports. It was a very nice disjoint by the Drunken Master, by the way, disjointing that stun and hook from Prisoner. So, well played by Sane, definitely. Actually, there is a hook going up, or going off in the mid, but Bubbles is easily going to dodge it.
Retorts there with the Shell Surf, but both players going to be fine. It looks like a Refreshment Rune spawning up top. Bottom lane, Bubbles is going for the Rune himself. Not going to find anything. He'll be a very sad panda. Blitz already grabbed the double damage rune just to burn it, and going to be doing a little bit of jungling himself now that he's hitting for not pitiful amounts of damage.
Sure, why not? I mean, those Snotter bosses, some free gold.
Oh, the value.
Gold per minute chart, by the way, it remains very, very low for both teams. So, as a game that started off with an offensive tri lane for Sync Esports is short or surely like just slow down significantly. I'm not even sure where to go from here. Where does Dark Lady go? Does he go for... Oh, kill by Emo by Nitro.
Yeah, they're able to get Insania right there, and that just started with Andromeda making her way on over and getting that really nice stun. Boy there with the auto attacks to follow it up. Looks like he is going to be going for the Thunderclaw.
Yeah, looks like it. If he's going to hit that, yeah, he's going to hit it relatively soon as well, so that's definitely going to speed up his farm. And Darkblade still has a long way to go for that Rune Axe. I'm not quite sure where Berserker is going for either. Where does he want to invest that Beastart into? It's certainly not the Helmet of the Black Legion. I'm thinking about if the Elder Parasite.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an Elder Parasite, definitely. He needs the lifesteal, he needs the movement speed, and the attack speed certainly doesn't hurt either, so I would consider that a pretty core item, and he is going to pick up the Gloves of the Swift as well. So unless he decides that he's going Alchemist Bones, I think that's going to be another Parasite.
Well, I mean, they got a Parasite in the Hellborn team, so I guess there's a possibility.
Oh, they're going to go for a kill here in the middle lane. Near in some trouble. The hook going to connect. Now it looks like they might be able to get another kill here. They're going to find Mickey. And actually a big Bubbles ultimate. Down goes the Dark Lady. Down goes Prisoner 945. But Berserker coming on in. And Clanks is going to be saved for now. Berserker having to turn around does get the speed up from Blitz. And he's going to find Drunken Master. The big attacks coming in. 270 damage on those autos. Able to chunk down the Parasite.
And he doesn't even have the Elder Parasite yet. I mean, if he would have had it at that point, he actually picked it up right now. If he would have had it in that fight, he would have gotten a hat-trick, no doubt. So, Reason Gaming, yeah, they need to sit back. They just got to find a claw on the Clanks. They need to shield for a little bit. They need Puzzle Box and Parasite as well before they can actually choose to take these kind of fights. Because the only initiation that they have so far, it's just Bubbles. And he's not necessarily your most reliable initiation tool, especially not in the early game. Usually you have something like a Miraxus, a Magnus, or something like that, but they don't. They only have the Bubbles. So they need Parasite to soak up, get a little bit tanky, be in front of those team fights, and just burn the mana away from the Berserker, the Prisoner, the Blitz in the team fights.
Well, right now it's looking like both teams going to be focusing a lot on Ancients. Clank's able to pick up a triple stack on his side. On the side for the Legion, it looks like Berserker going to be cleaning up his first set of Ancients. So definitely something that is pretty strong for Berserker, being able to get that Elder Parasite, being able to get the lifesteal that goes along with it, and then, of course, being able to get the farm that you get as well.
Yep. Darkly, by the way, picked up a Mana Tube. I assume that's going to go into the Sustainer and the Rune Axe, but she's struggling so much. 260 gold per minute. Flesmeister, he's not finding the farm whatsoever in this game, and I'm not quite sure why that's the case.
Bottom lane, it looks like Drunken Master could be in trouble. The Ephemeral Forge is here, but here comes 3 TPs. Will they attempt a kill? Arcane Vortex even going to be going out. Bubbles misses the ultimate, though. It's now time for a Reason to fall back. They committed a full 4 here, though.
So this time it's a Reason Gaming overcommitting this time. Do they have any tri-stack actions to take? No, they do not.
They just took them.
Clank's going to have to rotate all the way back to the top lane once again. He's going to lose so much time on this. And he just got a Thunder Claw.
I mean, if they had been able to have a team fight right there, they would have taken it. And if they had been strong enough to force a team fight, they would have taken it. But instead, they're not strong enough to force a team fight at that tower, and instead they have to make their way on out of there. So very inefficient indeed. Now they might have to make their way back down again. The ports are on cooldown, but Dark Lady and her cronies are, of course, pretty far up there, applying some pressure. And Bubbles just getting harassed by Prisoner in the middle lane. The shackled being applied.
Yeah, the defensive, what's it called? The defensive of Amulet is being used by the Hellborn team, but it's not going to matter. The tower is going to fall for Sync, and is that the first game of the... Yeah, that's the first tower of the game, actually. It goes to Sync Esports. Once again, we got a pause, maybe some technical issues, maybe even a strat pause, I don't know. Right now, I feel like Reason Gaming, they are in the lead, actually, with plus 1k gold and 4k experience. I wouldn't have guessed that from just looking at the heroes or how this game has been played out so far. It feels like Sync has been the one that's come out on top of those team fights, but somehow Reason Gaming, I mean, Clanks, he's just doing such a good job and somehow finding all the farm.
Yeah, doing a pretty good job indeed. And, I mean, even Zane coming in from the offlane, level 10 now, going up, opposed to the Berserker who had been kind of farming in the offlane, farming solo, the difference being the supports. You got Tankafet level 10 as opposed to Insania that's down there all the way at level 6. That's where a large amount of that experience lead is actually coming in. But one more time, we will unpause and get back into the game. Sync looking for a continuation of their series win earlier today against the boys from D-Dog.
Wow, that projected win, by the way, by Quincy there. Sync 58%, Reason 41. I would definitely not give Sync the edge that much, but I guess stats doesn't lie.
I mean, Shorkin says this: stats don't lie, Quincy does. He makes up these things, but I mean, he's got his formula, and most of the time I would say that's correct. So there's something that we're not seeing as far as the actual golden experience advantage that is giving Sync a little bit higher of a projected win rate. Sync is still Sync, yeah. Yeah.
All right, roger that. I guess that's a good point to make. But yeah, recent gaming so far, I mean, they are ahead, and I feel like as long as they get the puzzle box and they can actually, you know, get the counterwarding going. I mean, I don't see Sync Esports necessarily breaking the base or breaking too many towers. I don't think there's a Clanks and a Bubble sitting behind us counter pushing non-stop. I think it's going to be very tricky. Puzzle ball, or a PK, by the way, picked up on Prisoner here. Mickey finally got that tool, and right off the bat, they're going to take a fight.
Up top, they are going to go for the Arcane Vortex. That looked like it was on to Parasite. He's going to be in a ton of trouble. The hook going to finish him off as Mickey picks up that kill. Andromeda TP's on out of there. So once again, that's 4 TPs. And so it's Reason's time now to say, okay, you're in the top lane. Where else can we go? Clanks takes out an easy triple stack Ancient. And will he actually start pushing the bottom lane now? Is that a good idea?
I think he can. I mean, okay, never mind. Look at his health bar. It's so low. He's actually going to find a hard stack or a hard camp tri-stack instead. So he's more than happy with that. And he has farm tri-stack action as well. So he's actually even breaking the 400 gold per minute mark now. He's, yeah, actually Prisoner is the top farmer of the Legion side. I did not see that. Mickey with Berserker and Darkblade. It is the initiation hero Prisoner that actually has the lead.
Well, I mean, the others haven't been doing super hot, especially Fun Smasher, sitting on 1 kill, 3 deaths. And Berserker, I mean, he's certainly no flash farmer. He is a fighter. You build some very basic items, and you fight until you die, and then you fight again, and then you fight again forever.
Just keep the fight going on. Yep, sounds about right. But how can you do that when you don't have any initiation? I don't know. I mean, if they want to run the Berserker, maybe it would have been better to have, you know, that kind of Moraxis that Sync Esports actually banned in the start. I mean, they were confident with the Prisoner, but so far I feel like Moraxis would have been a much better pick. And they were Legion side, so they could have easily picked it up for themselves.
Wasn't Moraxis first ban?
Yeah, it was by Sync Esports.
Okay.
But I figured they could have took that instead of the Prisoner.
I lost down here. Ephemeral Forge being used by Moira. They're looking for the kill onto Clanks. They need to get the Shards of Harkin, but not quite able to get them in range. And now Berserker
is it going to be a
swap? Toe-to-toe, swapped up. There's the stun coming in. Berserker turning around, trying to kill Drunken Master. I don't think they have the damage.
They do not. They baited a TP at least, so small win for them. Small consolation prize. I'm not sure who it was, but he canceled it straight away. I think that was Insane on the Mora.
So 20 minutes in here, a little over 2,000 gold, 4,000 experience lead, going the way of Reason. And this is definitely something that favors the guys from Reason as well. They are much more comfortable in the late game. That is where they excel, whereas Sync continue to excel in that 20 to 40 minute range. That's where the majority of their wins come in. And if I'm not mistaken, the guys from Sync actually have a considerably lower win rate at 50 minutes and later, whereas Reason skyrockets.
That's very likely, or that's the case. Sync Esports usually runs the Force heroes. They are usually very like all about the Astro timing on Slap, but so far in DreamHack they haven't played a single Force hero. Versus D-Dog, they played the 2 support lineups, and same thing now versus Recent Gaming. I'm not quite sure, but every single time that Sync Esports are at the LAN event, they run no junglers.
Well, I think the junglers get banned out for the most part. I know that in the match against D-Dog, the tank effect, excuse me, the slapped Parasite as well as Ophelia was banned out every game, and Tempest even banned out twice of those games in the second banning phase.
Yeah, but you know, in the DreamHack warm-up event, for example, Sync Esports, they first picked Virtued Hag and the Tempest pretty much every single game. But so far in DreamHack, they haven't even played a single one of these heroes. So I'm not quite sure why the practice that Russian Hag and the Tempest, maybe they're still saving it until the later days. Maybe they feel confident enough to actually take these kind of games during DreamHack's first day in a little bit more of a, well, should I say, unpredictable lineup style. And then you just go back to what you're used to throughout the game or day 2 and day 3.
Saving strats, certainly a possibility. Elder Parasite as well as the Insanitary is now finished up on Berserker. And that's going to make him hit harder and faster and harder and faster.
Where's it go? Yeah, Insanitarius, indeed, that's going to be a big timing. But Dark Lady, I mean, that's the problem, I feel. What's he going to go for?
I think he still has to go Rune Cleaver. I think it's just too core on the hero. And as he gets a little bit of tower gold coming in from the top lane, I think that it's going to be getting relatively close. I think he probably has one of his swords in the stash. I would certainly hope so. Otherwise, he's more broken than I thought. But with Dark Lady pulling back here, a free tower going the way of the guys at Reason Gaming. And they're going to utilize this to take over the right side of the Legion jungle.
I feel like Reason Gaming are in a wonderful position. Like, how are you? It's going to be all about the Berserker, but as long as you just lock him down or kite him around, actually going to initiate on the Dark Lady here.
Yeah, the Bubbles ult is there. A hook onto one. Dark Lady goes down. Prisoner ultimate is going to pop off on only Parasite, but Andromeda with a beautiful swamp going to be coming in here. There's the lunge back into the Arcane Vortex on the other side over here. Bubbles going to be able to get the Shell Surf onto Mikke with the big hook onto 2, but that's not what he wanted. He's actually going to get both himself and maybe even this Blitz killed. No, Blitz is going to be able to jet on out of there, but Reason with a phenomenal fight ends up taking 3 for 1. Negative tower as well,
yeah,
backdoor style.
Like, they don't have that clear initiation from Sync Esports side. They got a prisoner with a PK, but he's so unreliable. And even if he jumps in and gets his ultimate off, Drunken Monster can just stagger away, Bubbles can just take cover it. There's just no way that they can actually get Berserker enough time to actually pound out his out attacks. He's easily counted around. And even if he were to hit someone, even if he were to get close on to the Clanks, they just got an Andromeda swap him out once again. And then he's gonna spend even more seconds just trying to reach another Reason Gaming hero. And I don't know, man. This is looking really, really scary now for Sync Esports.
Yeah, it seems like Sync is coming into these series with game 1 kind of in their mind of, we can try something a little bit different. And if it doesn't work, we can always go game 2 and 3. I don't know if that's the case here. They were talking about them being tired, wanting to go home and sleep. I would think that they just kind of want to finish this one off before they get tired, tilt, cranky, all that, those kinds of things. But so far, they're trying out a slightly different strategy and one that's countered by that green triangle. The Void Talisman already picked up here on Bubbles. Not always a core item, but certainly great against a Dark Lady Berserker. Would not be surprised to see a couple more of those coming out.
Nope, certainly not. Maybe not on the Clanks, that would probably not be optimal, but yeah, Andromeda definitely going to pick one up in the near future. Maybe even the Parasite, I wouldn't be surprised to see it. He got a puzzle box level, what is that by the way? Level 2? He's in a creep, so I can't see it right now.
Mine
there we go.
Bugging out on my screen.
Puzzle box level 3 just picked up by Tankafet. How are Sync Esports going to fight that? Put that puzzle box onto Berserker and he drops his mana in a matter of maybe 1 to 2 seconds.
Now the question is, how do they fight that right now? The answer is they don't. How do they fight that in 3 minutes? Because Dark Lady, of course, does have her Rune Cleaver now. Well, then they've got a lot more options as she's going to continue to flash farm right now. Currently level 13, sitting at 300 gold per minute, pretty much even. I expect to see that spike up quite a bit. She's already heading on over toward the Ancients, and man, I'm a prophet.
It is spiking, that's for sure, but still, I mean, Dark Lady is all about 3, 4 items before she can really start doing her thing. Sure, she got her ultimate, which can be great for teamfight support, but Rundax is just one small tool, like this kind of item that you build into, but before you get the Abyssal Skull and the BKB, there's no way that you can take a teamfight.
Speaking of taking team-based objectives, it looks like Kongor will be the next objective here from Reason, and they just have so much damage. With the negative Souls Bulwark, this Clanks is just putting in the deeps.
That is, Geometer's Bane finished up, and it looks like he is going to try to finish up a 5-round in the near future as well. Drunken Monster tanking Kongor, but it's actually hitting him relatively hard. Sync Esports might be looking to defend this one.
They look like they will indeed. The hook going to be going out onto 2. Dark Lady Ultimate trying to turn it around, but it's not going to be enough. Andromeda going to be the first one, and Dark Lady actually going to hop on in here as well. Berserker going to fall on the side of Sync, but it looks like it will be indeed Imba Boy coming back up with the token of life, and he's just annihilating them. The double tap already.
That was, I don't know if Sync Esport would have committed a little bit faster. They could have possibly done it, but when Token already was in the hands of Clanks, like, you should just fall back as soon as possible. I mean, you need to cut your losses. You cannot commit to that at that point. And Flensmeister, he more or less realized that. He was like, no, guys, don't go in. But he felt force from Prisoner and Berserker, was just in the middle of it. So he even leaped in, and he just ended up dying as well. Sync Esports now 30K experience behind.
Definitely mistakes that are not characteristic of the guys at Sync. They know as soon as that Conqueror goes down, you pull back. You fight before it goes up, but they actually fight into it, and they fight immediately after they acquired the Rune Cleaver on Dark Lady, giving her less than 1 minute to actually farm, 0 time to purchase any additional items. Some really big mistakes coming out of the guys at Sync, and they're being punished for it time and time again here by Reason. And it's getting more and more difficult. Already a Nullfire Blade now going to be finished up here on Imba Boy as well. Another 1,600 gold.
Why would he choose to go for the Nullfire Blade, I wonder? Is that, can you get rid of the shackle from the Prisoner?
I think that you might be able to. Now, a more traditional one would be actually purging Dark Lady Silence.
Roger.
You can purge the blades off of her so she no longer silences, no longer gets the additional damage. So that's a big one. There's a couple things you can actually purge from Blitz as well. The slow, the stun.
True, true. Yeah, there isn't too many heroes out there.
Oh, wow. Mickey trying to farm with the hook. Going to be in a little bit of trouble right here. And, yeah, it looks like he should be going down. The puzzle box level 3 is popped out. But there is Dark Lady and Berserker. Berserker just gets annihilated, though. The Arcane Vortex going to be going out, but already a double tap by Imba Boy. The slows are enough to keep him off of Blitz for now. Blitz is not quick enough to get on out of there. The silence into the auto attacks. Double taps coming out for Onme and Imba Boy. This is going to be a tier 2 tower for absolutely nothing. They'll have to wait for the creep wave, but they can put some pressure on the base here as well.
Yep, once again, Reason Gaming going strong. It's looking to be a victory, actually. I don't want to count or like call it too soon, but Sync Esports, something is off. I mean, the spirit that they have from Acer D-Dog, I know I talked with Insane and he said like Acer D-Dog, those guys are our grand finals. I mean, that first series of the day, that's our grand finals. We want to beat Acer D-Dog. We want to get revenge on Thailand. But after that, Reason Gaming stands in their way, and they're just making a statement that they are not going to go down easy. They are looking to win DreamHack Summer. And they have been playing like close to perfection so far. I really like the draft so far. Drunken Master, you know, bubbles, I mean, countering and just adapting to the Sync Esports draft while the draft is going on, more or less.
They have indeed looked quite good. I'm looking at this farmed Andromeda. Level 12, she's got the Energizer, a full mana battery, and of course she does have a green triangle. She just picked up the Void Talisman.
Oh, really?
So she's farmed, man. She is not easy to take down.
Yeah,
and
that's just going to allow her to make even more of those common stuns in the team fights. Even if he swaps out the Clanks now, he's not even going to be in trouble. He can just pop the Void Talisman and he's going to be untouched. He just runs safely out. And actually, speaking about untouchable, Drunken Master picking up a freaking Helm of the Black Legion this late.
Helm of the Black Legion in addition to the Abyssal Skull.
But
so the armor aura is going to be going out as well. There's a lot of EHP between those two items. Getting the armor from the Soul's Bulwark and the Abyssal Skull, now picking up even a Chainmail, and then getting the raw HP from the Helm of the Black Legion there, as well as the block on the melee heroes that are going to be attacking him. I don't think it's the worst thing.
No, I guess they're making a statement that they want to break base relatively soon, so they just want to have Drunken Monster sitting in front, and like that's where Helm of the Black Legion is perfect, because it blocks a lot of damage from the tower, of course.
1,666 HP, and of course 22 armor on your Drunken Master. He's looking pretty good. They've got 3 of those green triangles. Parasite picks one up as well. And Imba Boy picked up the Dancing Blade. Oh, man.
Yeah, if the wing bow hits, like, how
Yeah.
are you ever going to reach him? He's going to be so far off in the distance, still hitting like a truck. Get a Savage Mace on top of that, and I think it's game. He is so close. He is on fire with this hero. Every single time I see Clanks, I almost feel like you should blind ban and Clanks up against him. Or at least in the second banning phase. Like, why do you not get rid of this hero? He got 1 or 2 annihilations versus BMG earlier today on this hero. And now he's... Well, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets yet another annihilation here in the next team fight.
And there's the wing bow. Just completed. Goes back to base, spends the gold, and says...
Already?
And says, okay, we got the item. Let's take out the final tower in the bottom lane. Let's take out these ancients. Let's wait until I'm 6 slotted, and then take the base. And at this rate, he'll be 6 slotted in about a minute.
Look at TDL. Like, he's at basic items. The only thing that he got... And there's the pause just when Parasite initiates.
Awkward.
I don't think that he's going to be able to kill the Dark Lady on his own. No, there should be no way.
I certainly don't expect so. It's still just very awkward. Now Parasite is in a position where he might even be turned around on himself with some other heroes that are in the relative vicinity.
Yep, Moira, where is she? She got quite a lot of range. I can't even see what level that spell is, but it's got quite a lot of range in all levels, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Seems
not
like
able
he's
to.
gonna be fine.
The silence coming in from Parasite, making sure that Dark Lady was not able to get off her charge or Dark Blades. Anything along those lines. That
Oh, look at Moira, by the way. They're not done quite yet. They are going to find the Parasite.
And he's in the Vagabond leader. Team help is coming on the way. And Andromeda, I don't know about that one. She's going to be trying to get away for now. Okay.
I almost
it
feel like they
actually
could have
worked a lot.
turned one around. I felt like it could have played a little bit greedy. I felt like the swap come out too early. They should have popped.
They're creating space for the tower
box.
in the bottom lane, though, as that one is gone.
Yep, that's a good one for Reason. Once again, pushing the tower, and look at the gold per minute now. It's almost a double of the Dark Lady.
Clanks is officially higher GPM than the top 2 of the opposing team combined.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Especially when those 2 heroes are Berserker and the Dark Lady. But yeah, it was something with the draft that was a little bit off. I don't feel like this synergy was there, not without an initiation hero. Prisoner is great to create space early on, but he needs someone else to just go in and stun first and set up for his hook, and he didn't have that in this game. There was just no one that could help him out, more or less. He was alone when it came to ganking. Like, they were so reliable on him hitting hooks.
BMG did defeat T-Dog. I noticed that their game finished and kind of assumed that it was 2-0 since they all left.
Yep. Want to go back to the hotel and sleep? Understandable.
Yeah. So poor guys from T-Dog, they came out, they had such a magnificent start with that 1-game victory over the guys of Sync, their rivals, but weren't able to close that one out, and after that lost their momentum, falling once again to the world champions BMG. So BMG keeps the dream alive themselves.
That they do. Played very promising in that game.
Oh, Moira is in some trouble. Auto attack's going to be coming on, and a Parasite says, give me that face, I'm going to hug it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Moira once again going down. What? Where do you go from here? You got a BKB on the Dark Lady. He didn't even go for that Missile Skull. There's not a single Ring of the Teacher even on the Legion team. It just feels like the coordination is a little bit off here.
Yeah, it's a little bit interesting. Their items don't really seem to have a lot of cohesion in where they're actually aiming to try to take a timing, or if they're just trying to stay alive in this game. And then you got items like a portal key that's coming out on, oh, excuse me, I thought there was a portal key on Berserker, and I was like, what? That doesn't make sense. But
don't say that. I could definitely see him getting a portal key a little bit later on in the game.
yeah, after he gets some other items, for sure. I mean, I think that he probably needs a Shrunken Head, and he's looking to complete his Staff of the Masters as well, as he has already picked up that Glowstone, about 1,800 gold off from finishing it.
Yeah, Only, by the way, on the bubbles, got the Void Talisman, he got a portal key, and he got a Storm Spirit now. He's even closing in on Sheepstick. Maybe he got a little bit left, but he's up at that Blessed Orb timing at least.
Yeah, extremely strong items coming out from Onmi. They're very strong mid-game scaling items, but going into the later game, he's got a lot of those items in the 2,000 to 3,000 range that aren't going to be able to scale super well into the late game. But I'm sure that with the farm that he's been getting, 363 gold per minute, second highest in the game, he'll be just fine. And utilizes the take cover right
look
there.
At Mora, he's going to be fine for the Parasite.
Mora down one more time. He's been getting loud.
The offensive wards from Insania is actually, I personally don't agree with the placement. I feel like they should be on their side and not on Recent Gaming's side. Because for the last 10 minutes or so, Recent Gaming has been all over the Legion side. They have not been farming their own forest for quite some time. And look at this now. Clang's going to start adding up those out attacks.
Yeah, I mean, there was a tower there like a minute ago, maybe 5 seconds ago. They get the stun on a Berserker right here. Dark Lady Ultimate is going to be going off. This is turning into a big-ass team fight. Prisoner is going to fall. Oh my god, Imbaboy's doing so much damage. And the GGs are going to be coming out immediately. Imbaboy just tore into them right there. No, he's not going to get the annihilation.
Damn.
But it certainly looked quite impressive. Berserker and Prisoner trying to bust their way into the middle of that team fight. But it's just not happening. There was too much damage coming off from the side, and they had nothing to lock down Imbaboy immediately. All of their CC took a second or two to actually engage.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. Recent Gaming playing perfection here. They had